Which do you think is more likely? You rationally choose your political beliefs, and others who use reason will agree with your views. Or you experience a different priority of needs than others, which find expression in political beliefs. In this video, I help liberate you from the painful traps of political polarization. I show you how the answer is as simple and challenging as love. Hi, my name is Steph Turner, founder of Onychology, the study of need. You can learn more about onychology from my book, You Need This, set for publication in the summer of 2021. In this series, I apply this new understanding of need toward dissolving polarization. I show you an interactive tool you can download for free so you can depolarize political tension for yourself. I address the needs behind both political sides with empathy and love. At the end of this video, I introduce you to a visionary way to speak your truth to political power. Interested? Let's dive in. What do you think of Trump supporters storming the U.S. Capitol? What do you think of Black Lives Matter protests spilling into violent outrage? Do you assume there is something terribly wrong with one of these, while something terribly misunderstood about the other? Do you feel both have slipped off the deep end of extremism? How would you react if your traditional way of life was under constant threat of government pressures? How would you react if your very being felt under constant threat of unchecked police violence? Demanding all protests stay nonviolent fails to acknowledge the violence both sides already endure. Politics is about needs. Politics exists to shape public policies for your public needs, like national defense, a reliable food supply, a safe water source, healthcare, education, and anything you cannot personally provide for yourself. Politics is the art of generalizing how to agreeably address needs in different situations. Politics offers you relief from pain. If these public needs aren't being resolved in your life, you understandably suffer in pain. Politics serves up arguments to ease that pain. The needs come first, chosen beliefs later. Each side feels compelled to choose arguments geared to ease the pain of their particular needs. How often our politics fails to acknowledge this? Democracy debates what to do about your needs and can never legitimately debate the needs themselves. You don't choose your needs choose you. If you're wondering which political side I take, I don't. I am neither liberal nor conservative, nor in between. I am spiritually compelled to transcend the political divide. I am spiritually compelled to always take the side of resolving needs on all sides. And I am spiritually compelled to question the legitimacy of anyone in power who does not. Divisive politics never removes pain. Resolving needs removes pain and restores functioning on all sides. Divisive politics perpetuates pain. It perpetuates your pain. It tempts you to overgeneralize for elusive relief. It leaves you emotionally attached to generalizations that keep you trapped in pain of unresolved needs. at the benefit of political elites. Insisting one side eases their painfully public needs at the expense of the other side's needs is the big lie of politics. Such needs would never evolve in the first place if it was always impossible to resolve. Join me in rejecting this big lie. My very existence runs counter to this big lie. Who am I? I am a trans spirit. That is someone spiritually compelled to transcend divisiveness, to connect to each other, to resolve needs. St. Paul was a trans spirit. Gandhi, Bonhoeffer, and Dr. King were arguably trans spirits. Much like these examples in history, I too was wrongly accused and imprisoned. Despite being transgender and asexual, or maybe because of it, I was falsely accused of a sex crime that never occurred. Prosecutions are ultimately a political act. It pits one person against another based on self-interested generalizations. And these divisive binary systems resist need resolvers like me, and like Dr. King, and others prioritizing love over systems of violence. Violence is internal weakness externalized. Resilience is external strength internalized. Violence spurs hate. Resilience spurs love. Violence provokes more needs it can resolve. Love resolves more needs than violence can provoke. So I introduce you to the tool of onechology to understand your needs, to understand your politicized needs. I help you see your needs through the lens of my Native American heritage, to relate to your needs and the needs of others as a fact of nature. This unique understanding of need came to me after earning degrees in theology, computer science, anthropology, sociology, public administration, and counseling. Now I apply this indigenous perspective to politics. For you, I created this interactive spreadsheet tool called Harmony Politics. Now let's go to valuerelating.com and download your own copy of Harmony Politics. All right, now that we're here, I want to take you through Harmony Politics. And if you just click here on page 2, Harmony Politics. Well, can you put another specific needs ahead of your trusted generalizations? Politics can never solve our specific problems from the level of generalizing that created them, since politics is about generalizing in both senses of the word. So which do you think is more true? We freely choose our political positions after carefully reasoning each option? Or we're compelled to choose a political position that best fits our painful needs? Click in the white field below and choose one. I am going to go with the second one. And see how this changes the text here. So starts out this way and then goes here. And politics exists to express needs. Well, if compelled by painful needs, your political views resist reduction into mere beliefs. You do not choose the needs shaping your beliefs. Your needs exist and prioritize first from circumstance, and then find expression in available political views. This does not leave you at the mercy of circumstance or without reasoning to rise above the worst of circumstances. You are indeed personally responsible for your choices in life, but not the narrow options imposed from outside of you. Otherwise, you would get pulled into extremes. Yes, no one can fully fault their circumstances or escape the reality of poor options from which to choose. No one can reduce to reasoned beliefs our contrasting priorities or personal and social needs. Personal responsibility coexists with social responsibility. Politics polarize when failing to balance both. Now, if you see, if you can just click here again, and it starts out with instructions, but if you go with the other direction, it comes up with a slightly different explanation, but I'll let you read that on your own when you download this for yourself. So, harmony politics overcomes polarizing hate with love. So, understanding politics, it's about needs. Harmony politics answers polarized politics by addressing the needs behind politics. Ontology, the study of need, shines a fresh light on politics. Until we look through the lens of how politics exists to serve needs, we miss its most basic point. Politics exists to express needs. Apart from needs to express, there is no such thing as politics. Ontology defines politics as the art of generalizing how to agreeably address needs in different social situations. This packs three dynamics fueling polarized politics. 1. Politics favors broad generalizations over your specific needs. We become easily polarized over generalizations that poorly fit our specific needs. 2. Politics shapes legal agreements to address public-facing needs. We become easily polarized by alienating laws as they coerce compliance against our priority of needs. 3. Politics mitigates between contrasting situationally prioritized needs. We become easily polarized by mutual defensiveness toward each other's situational needs. Until we understand our needs behind politics, we cannot really understand our politics. According to ontology, there is no good nor bad except for need. Morality is code for need. Good politics for you fits your needs. If it threatens the needs of others, then it's bad politics for them. No amount of political debating can change each other's needs. You can't force anyone's needs with political reasoning. Their needs, as yours, force their own political reasons. According to ontology, we all share the same core needs. We experience the same optimal range of body temperature, the same optimal range of water in our bodily system, the same need for love, for acceptance, for belonging. How we get these diverges. Politics can address this divergence. Politics cannot eliminate the needs themselves. Ontology distinguishes between shared core needs and less shared resource needs to ease those core needs. Even less shared access needs to get such resources, and least shared psychosocial needs for who is to access such resources to ease core needs. So you see there's 4 levels of need experience. So in your experience of needs, to illustrate this point, consider your need for health. We all need health, but get it in different ways. Well, likewise, we all need protection from threats, but some of us depend more on government security services than others, and for different things. So click on health in the white field below to change this illustration and to see how we all share the same core needs, but diverge in how we ease such needs. So if you take a glance at how we all need health but get it differently, well, we all feel the same need to be physically well. Sure, we both on the left say I'm ill, and on the right I'm ill, but flash down to psychosocial needs, and it's like, well, on the left I rely on public assistance, and on the right I rely on my private insurance plan. Well, let's switch that to one of the other options. There's plenty up here. Let's go with water. It's a very basic one to illustrate. Well, we all need for bodily fluid balance, and both the left and right have the same core need experience. I'm thirsty. But on the left says, I need drink of water or iced latte. Where on the right, I need drink of water or a cold beer. Well, at the excess level, left, government serves the demand, where on the right, the market ensures efficient supply. On the left, I rely on regulated city water. On the right, I can dig my own well. So as it goes from the core need, resource need, access need, to psychosocial need, there is a common ground all the way to where it diverges to a different priority of needs. It's about needs. In ontology, this is called the need experience funnel. It sees a false comparison when trying to contrast the more common needs shared by liberals and conservatives alike. It sees a false equivalency when conflating liberal and conservative outlooks to serve those more common needs. Well, can you remember this need experience funnel by its accidental acronym? Can we now all agree that politics is full of crap? You're prioritizing needs. If not getting enough water, you will naturally obsess more about water. Reasoning has little to do with it. You can use reasoning for how to get the water you need, but there is no rational choice involved when nature prioritizes your urgent need for water. Emotions then rule. Nature prioritizes your less resolved needs along this need experience funnel. If relying on substitute resources, your painful need persists. If unable to access a resource, your painful need persists. If vulnerable to others impacting your access to resources, your painful need persists. Can you get the water you need completely on your own? Or must you trust others? So there's a tension between your self-needs and your social needs. Your self-needs, you naturally need to be able to address many of your needs on your own. You cannot always call on others for help. Your social needs, you naturally need to trust others to help address your many needs. You cannot access or create all necessary resources. So click in the white field on the left to select a need from this drop-down list. So let's go with initiative. There's a lot more to choose from, but I'm just saying let's go with initiative. And then for a social need, on this drop-down list, I'm going to, because there's a lot of choices, but I'm going to go with belonging. So at some point in your life, you need initiative. And at some point, you need belonging. So then determine which you experience as more resolved than the other in this next field. So let's go with the first one. My need for initiative tends to be more resolved than my need for belonging. And then you scroll down, and it says, you demonstrate what ontology calls a wide psychosocial orientation. Your unmet social needs pulls you to focus more on wider relationships, such as disadvantage others you don't personally know. You guard your more resolved self-needs, like self-expression and authenticity. So now if I switch that, so where it says, my need for belonging tends to be more resolved than my need for initiative, you demonstrate what ontology calls a deep psychosocial orientation. Your unmet needs pulls you to focus more on deeper relationships, like your nuclear family and devotion to God and country. You guard your more resolved social needs, like group cohesion and loyalty. So if you get the picture, it's whichever set of needs is resolved more than the other is what predisposes you to liberalism, because that is undergirded by a wide psychosocial focus. Or if you lean conservative, you lean right, that's because you have a deep psychosocial focus. If a wide focus, if your need If your self needs resolve more than your social needs, you tend to focus wide. You naturally focus more toward the needs of the disadvantaged. You yearn for inclusiveness, for what we can do more for each other, and for social equality, for better lives. But if deep focus, if your social needs resolve more than your self needs, you tend to focus deep. You naturally focus more towards the needs of the resourceful. You yearn for cohesiveness, for what we can do more for ourselves, and for personal responsibility for better lives. Your situation first focuses your needs. Your politics arrive after, to give them shared expression. Wide focus predisposes towards liberalism. Deep focus predisposes towards conservatism. The needs come first, expressions then later. So let's test this assertion for your psychosocial orientation. Your flexible needs orient your focus. We each experience this as a psychosocial orientation. Quick estimate your own psychosocial orientation and see if it predicts your political outlook. So click in this first white field and then select which item applies best to you. So let's say the first item fits best. I feel more socially secure among those around me than personally free to be unique. Click the next one, and let's say we'll click on the first one in each one of these and see what we get. As you can see, these will actually come out. See, if I feel my experiences are more in common with others than at odds with others, I feel more socially supported by my family than by those outside my family. So each of these at the top, these actually, if you can say this actually is your experience, it illustrates you have needs that prioritize you towards a deep psychosocial orientation of being deeper in your relationships, which will predispose you towards conservatism. So your responses indicate you have a deep yet narrow psychosocial orientation. You likely express it best with far or outright views. Your political outlook outwardly expresses your inward psychosocial orientation. Okay, so let me go back up here and say I'm going to take some of these and put them in the other direction. And say instead of I feel more pressure, let's say I'm going to put this in the other way, and it moderates this. So your responses indicate you have a deep then wide psychosocial orientation. And so this actually shows a degree of each orientation. And now if I go ahead and turn each of these around to the second one, so that would actually indicate a more left-leaning orientation, or in this case, a wider orientation. And I'll go ahead and leave some of these towards the other side. If it says here, your responses indicate you have a wide, then deep psychosocial orientation. You likely express it best with progressive liberal views. Your political outlook outwardly expresses your inward psychosocial orientation. You likely find the most comfort for your publicly affected needs among others, like-minded progressive liberals. Well, together, you oppose those of a different political outlook, because they prioritize a clashing set of needs than yours. Your prioritized needs keep you different from their outlook, not reasoned arguments, but stubborn needs. Your political outlook outwardly expresses your inward psychosocial orientation. So let's put this to the test. Read each political stance below and based on your answers above. Then click in the drop-down menu at the right of each item to express how much you agree or disagree with the stated position. Then see the results below. So your likely stance on immigration. So let's say your stance is for easy entry, that we need to admit more immigrants are desperate to leave situations largely of our own interventionist making. So I click in there and I say, well, I fully agree with this position, or I totally disagree with this position, or somewhere in between. So let's say I'm saying I somewhat agree with this position. And then your likely stance on climate change, carbon exchange, that we already see devastating effects of climate change and must act now before more lives get harmed. And we can say, well, I neither agree nor disagree with this position. And then gun safety, I'm going to quick go through each of these. Let's say I fully agree with this position, and on this stance on abortion, I agree mostly. So I can go with different degrees, and maybe on healthcare, I have a totally different view. So I say I somewhat disagree with that position. And then on criminal justice, I can say I mostly disagree. I mostly disagree. And then on economy, I'm going to say I totally agree with that. So right here, answer all items above. So I'm going to go ahead and check one more. I strongly agree on this position, racism. And it shows that I have a strong correlation between the estimated psychosocial orientation and political views. Now, if I went back and changed some of these, let's say I went ahead and said, I totally disagree with this position, and I somewhat disagree, and I somewhat disagree, but let's say I totally disagree with this one, and then I go ahead and say I only marginally agree with that one. So it shows I have a moderate correlation between the estimated psychosocial orientation. Or maybe if I even say I totally disagree with this one, now it says I have a weak correlation. So basically this is set up to see how much of this is true for you. You're prioritizing psychosocial needs. What your guarded political views outwardly express your inwardly vulnerable psychosocial orientation. Can you change your priority of pressing needs to fit the expectations of another's persuasive political arguments? If not, why try to change their priority of pressing needs to fit your expectations? Why set yourself up to hate them for not agreeing with you, right? Why set yourself up for such disappointment? To paraphrase JFK, ask not what others can agree with you politically, ask how you can better respect their needs. The more you respect their needs, the more you can earn their respect for yours. The standard applied sets the standard replied. So let's stop hating on each other for what neither can easily change. Let's understand others as we expect others to understand us. So if wide-focused, you focus more on social equality than on individual freedoms. If deep-focused, you focus more on individual freedoms than on social equality. So you see it's a continuum. So way on the left, you seek inclusion to ease less resolved social needs that you experience as a priority for you. Away on the right, you seek freedom to ease less resolved personal needs because these are a priority for you. Or if somewhere in between, you may seek both personal and social needs equally, and often you become less politically involved. So on the political left, you see wide inclusiveness for those whose uniqueness left them historically out in the cold. On the political right, you see deep cohesiveness for those with a satisfying traditional relationship with each other. You experience your psychosocial needs quite differently from one another. Social needs more than self-needs, or self-needs more than social needs. And that's what forms the basis for political differences. Not rationally chosen differences, but stubborn needs. Your needs exist first, then prioritize you if left unresolved. Political reasoning emerges afterwards for their relief. So I'm going to let you go through the rest of this on your own. This is pretty good detail to describe a little further this comparison or this contrast between wide orientation and deep orientation, and even gets to a range of orientations and addresses well, let's say it even addresses populism. But I'm going to take you all the way down. You can get these white fields on your own, and for your own downloaded copy. But I'm going to go ahead and take you down all the way down to this last page before I wrap this up. And that is this one here, dissolving pain of divisive tribal politics. Politics turns tribal when it binds the needy into camps sharing the same prioritized needs. Then rally its members into opposing any other camp prioritizing a different set of needs. Each side focuses less and less on resolving needs, keeping us all needy and stuck in pain, and in perpetual yet pointless conflict. Contrast this with harmony politics, right? So divisive politics can be summed up as argues defensively to avoid pain, rejects expressed differences, demands consensus agreement. Harmony politics can be summed up as listens for needs to remove pain, affirms different need priorities, offers empathy and understanding. Harmony politics is not for everyone. It upends the status quo you may depend upon. So select how readily willing and able you are to try this radically different path. So it can be blank when you first download it, but let's say if I somewhere in between, and then it gives you a readout that shows whatever degree you are. So go ahead and read that on your own for your own downloaded copy for whatever level that you are ready for this. So are you now ready, willing, and able to accept this challenge? Did I miss anything? How can I improve this for you? Comment below on how this speaks to your understanding of politicized needs. Contact me at valuerelating.com/contact if you need to speak truth to political power. Imagine what harmony politics can do for you with its conciliatory approach, encouraging more love, and its mutually incentivized cooperation. Why would anyone resist? So go to valuerelating.com now to download your own free interactive tool. And if you find any value in it, share it freely with others. Let's spread some love. Thank you for viewing this pioneering approach to politics. Check the description below for a link to download your own Harmony Politics tool. Go ahead and click thumbs up now if you appreciate this content. Share with someone you know who could use this. Share with your political foes. To see more, be sure to subscribe to this channel and click the notifications bell to keep alert when the next video is ready for your viewing. I upload a new video each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Then I look for your comments and reply to your engaging inputs. You can also find me that day at my Facebook group, Depolarizing Politics with Love. Let's keep the conversation going. This is Steph, founder of Unchosen, understanding your politicized needs. This is Steph, founder of Unchosen, understanding your politicized needs. Next time, I start unpacking your needs behind each political issue. See you then. Thank you.